Paval with Access Arts Live, and I'm back to give you more information in this live stream about this weekend's manifold, 6 different young musicians concerts that are coming out. There really wasn't any way to include it in even partially with our earlier live stream updating you on the weekend's concerts with grown-ups. So I decided to do this separate one because some of you will be starting to view this by tomorrow morning in Europe at 10 o'clock or 1 o'clock at night on the West Coast in the US, starting with one of the first of the Australian ones. So I want to get this live stream out there, which before you start having to make decisions about viewing any of these things. Now, there are 6 young musician or young adult live streams, which are going to be taking place this weekend. 4 of them in Australia, 2 of them in the United States, on the West Coast and on the East Coast. So let's get into it. The first of them is I'm not going to talk in great detail about all of them, but where I have some details, I'll give them to you. First of them is the Vlassenko piano competition, which is on Saturday, July 13th in Australia at 6 in the evening. Now, that'll be at 10 in the morning in European time, 4 in the morning on the East Coast. So I doubt anybody's going to be up watching that, but you never know. If you're awake and if you have insomnia, but that would be at 1 o'clock in the morning, Friday night on the West Coast. And if you're nocturnal and you're up late like me, that's not too late at all. And this concert is free of charge. This is the 25th year of this competition. They bring together piano talents from throughout Australia and New Zealand. They play with the Queensland Symphony Orchestra under conductor Benjamin Northey. Northey is like a main man in Australia. He has conducted in opera houses around the country. He has been the head principal conductor at several different orchestras over there. Might want to tune in to a free live stream just to see Benjamin Northey in action, because, all conductors don't conduct the same way. And I like watching conductors. After that, so that will be, that'll be like 1 o'clock on Friday night on the West Coast. The next one after that is the Australian Romantic and Classical Orchestra. They're young Mannheim Symphonists is what they call them. That's Saturday at 2 o'clock, Australian Eastern Summertime, as they call it, which will be 6 in the morning in Europe, midnight on the East Coast, but 9 o'clock in the evening, Pacific Daylight Time. So actually, it's before the Vlassenko piano competition, and I have made a mistake again in getting the chronological order wrong. Now, this one is not free. It's broadcast on the Australian Digital Concert Hall, which has many of these Australian live streams. They're giving us a lot of material during these summer months when a lot of European and American symphonies are shut down for their summer. This one is 20 Australian dollars to watch, which is about 13 US dollars or about 12.5 euros. And they say 15 of these Australian dollars go directly to the artist. So if you want to support the artist, you can. They're doing something I've never heard before, a Beethoven piece, the overture to the Creatures of Prometheus, Opus 43, for those who are counting the opus numbers. And Schubert's Symphony Number 9 in C major, which of course we've all heard before, the Great Symphony, under conductor Rachel Beasley. Then after that, it's back to the United States with the Icicle Creek Chamber Music Festival's Young Artist Concert. They haven't really told us what they'll be playing, except it's a selection of Beethoven and Mozart and some other well-known names. So you can look that up for yourself. The charge for that is 10 US dollars or 9 euros, and that's on the Icicle Creek website. We'll give you the links for that. Then after that, there's more. Okay. On Sunday in Australia, there is the Sydney Eisteddfod Opera Scholarship Competition. And this is 5 finalists who've already been through a rigorous process all week long. You know how these if you don't know how these opera competitions work, they're required to prepare 2 or 3 arias from different time periods and then perform them. and they'll perform with the Willoughby Symphony Orchestra, and the grand prize is a 45,000 Australian dollar scholarship to engage in further opera study in Europe. So good on them. But then again, this one is 25 Australian dollars, which is about 16 US dollars, or 15 to 16 euros. And they say that $20 out of these 25 go to the artists themselves. So again, if you want to be supporting young artists, there's that. After that, also on Sunday in Australia, did I give you the time of that one? I don't think I did. The time of the Eisteddfod opera competition is 2 in the afternoon in Australia, which will be 6 in the morning in Europe, and that's 9 p.m. That's midnight on the East Coast, and 9 in the evening on the West Coast. So again, that's when you can watch from on your Saturday night, if you want to shell out for a youth competition. Now, when they say youth competition, this is 18 to 35 years old. So these are not children competing. These are aspiring opera singers, and it takes a long time for them to mature into what's considered adults, older than 35. After that, then, is the Australian Youth Orchestra, and they're live streaming also on the Australian Digital Concert Hall. That's at 5 in the evening in Australia, 9 in the morning in Europe, 3 in the morning on the East Coast, and I think that would be midnight on the West Coast. They're going to be doing, let me check my notes. It's a fairly serious concert, this one. They're doing a world premiere of a piece written for them by Ian Grandage. If you look up Ian Grandage, you'll find that he's an interesting contemporary composer. They'll be doing some Wagner, and they'll be doing Mahler's Symphony No. 5. So they're pretty serious. I mean, you can't do Mahler without being serious. Sometimes too serious for me, but that's a subject for another time. I'm not here to necessarily impose my personal opinions of Mahler or anybody else upon you. And then finally, last but not least, I would guess, back in the United States in Washington, D.C., on the East Coast now, at 6 in the evening, Eastern Daylight Time, 3 in the afternoon on Sunday, and that'll be 11 o'clock at night in Europe. The National Symphony Orchestra's Summer Music Institute will be bringing its young'uns in to play music for you. They'll be playing music by Montgomery, Debussy, Britten, and Stravinsky. So here you have the lot of all of these young musician things. Several of them are free of charge. Some of them are very inexpensive, like 10 euros and $10 or 9 euros. So you might want to check them out if you have a great interest. And I separate them from the adults, but these young musicians, they can play their tails off, and if they are worked out right and conducted right by a conductor like Benjamin Northey or somebody like that, well, you're really in for something. So thanks for listening again. Let us remind you again, if you can follow us on Facebook especially, that would help us, because we're live streaming on a number of different platforms where you may be seeing us now. We're on X, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitch now, we're on YouTube, and we're on Instagram, but we're not on Facebook and TikTok yet. But the more people follow us on those two platforms, the sooner we can get to live stream on them as well. And we ask you to repost these things, because tens of millions of people tune in to watch viral videos of opera, ballet, and chamber music on TikTok or on YouTube or elsewhere. And if we could just get a fraction of that audience focusing in on these live streams of the performing arts, it will dramatically change the entire revenue generating landscape of the performing arts and uplift all of them, and will lead to much more of this kind of thing being done, eventually, perhaps 24/7, because every hour of every day there are fantastic performances going on, which almost nobody gets to see. So we're putting in our little bid to help more people get to see them. ciao for now, and enjoy the kids this weekend.